tonight on the Black Channel. Well, I want to go over some political gestures, politics and politricks here. President Trump, as many of you know here, after years of lobbying by Kanye West and others, has commuted the federal sentence of Larry Hoover. He commuted the federal sentence of Larry Hoover. So the Black Gangster disciples, they've been talking about it for decades. And the man's been in prison for decades, longer than a lot of us been alive, including myself. So that occurred. But, you know, some folks are wringing their hands about certain things. And those are the folks I want to talk about and talk to tonight. Because I've got some unique ways of looking at these things here, and some of you may like it, some of you may like it, and some of you may not. Some of you may not like what you're going to hear, but that's going to be something for you to think about. That's going to be something for you to think about here. Now, what did Larry Hoover do? What did Larry Hoover actually do here? That's the question. What did he do? Now, there are going to be some folks who say that, oh, we don't want that. Oh, bad for the community. Now, let me check on here just a moment. I hope I didn't get that thing messed up. What did we do there? Oh.
I'm going to see if we can correct that myself. If I can, I'll do that. If I can, I'll do that. Y'all let me know if that's better. Okay, let me know if that's better. All right, there you go. All right, there you go. All right. Now, where was I before I was so rudely interrupted by my own mix board here, apparently? All right, Larry Hoover's sentence has been commuted federally. The federal sentence for Larry Hoover has been commuted by President Trump. The federal sentence was commuted. And I want to deal with that aspect of this here. Because going back to the 50s and 60s, and then the 70s, you had a number of black men. You got to understand that, like every other group in America, Martin Scorsese can make movies about white gangs, quote unquote, protecting their turf being the neighborhood. Please remember, with the Italian Mafia, they go around shaking down store owners, quote unquote, their own people. So there's always been this dichotomy. Look it up. There has always been this split vision of perspective handed out by Hollywood and the corporate media. The white corporate media has always said, well, I mean, they were protecting the neighborhood and looking out for the people. And that's the way that's portrayed. When it comes to the black gangs, however, that is what happens. When it comes to the black gangs, you were told there's absolutely nothing good about that, but you're talking about community organizations that really sprang up as a result of segregation, the American apartheid system, and victimizing us. So, of course, you're going to have this natural reaction to that. And from there, they may be corrupted, but then again, that's the government's job, is to do that. Now, in the case of Larry Hoover, there would be people who would be upset. Well, Jason, what about the black gangster disciples? Well, Jason, what about folk getting killed, or this, that, and the other? And I would like to address a few things here. I would like to address a few things in that regard. And some of you may not like what you're going to hear, but I'm going to be brutally honest about that. Well, first of all, let's deal with the commutation itself. Symbolic political gestures. So President Trump, at the federal level, President Trump commuted Larry Hoover's sentence. He's at ADX Florence. So, I mean, locked up with the baddest of the bad for decades now. And Trump commuted his sentence. Now, that doesn't deal with the state level. You're going to have to get Governor Pritzker of Illinois to pardon him at the state level in order for him to be released from prison, because as far as the feds are concerned, he's been commuted there, but the state, he still has charges from the state. So now he's not going to be a free man until Governor Pritzker does something in his regard. But, you know, for anybody out there, and I want to deal with the people who wring their hands. I want to deal with some of the people who wring their hands, because you see, there are folks who don't like my perspective on things and don't like my ideology on things, because what you need to understand is that our freedom was won for us by the gangsters. What? Oh, you're not going to like that. People, I don't know what fantasy world you might have immigrated in from, but understand something. Our freedom has never been won for us by the clergy and the pointy-headed academics and the Michael Eric Dysons, and damn sure not the Mark Lamont Hills. Our freedom was not fought for nor won for by the academics and the soft niggas. These niggas I damn sure did.
And deal with it, nigga.
You know I'm about to get down with it. Our freedom was not won for us by the clerks and the clerics and the pencil pushers and the bookkeepers and the academics and the professors with their highfalutin speeches and the Cornel West. Our freedom was fought for in the streets by the gangsters. It was fought for in the streets by the hustlers. It was fought for in the streets by, as Dr. John Henry Clark called it, the street cats, the pool hall cats. Those were the ones who did it. Malcolm X was not raised in some upper middle class bourgeoisie family of the Talented Tenth and the Jack and Jill Society and the Boulay. The Boulay, you're too busy getting manicures and pedicures, and I'm talking about the men. Damn! The Roland Martins, you run up on him and the nigga turns straight Karen. That ain't fighting for nothing. He ain't fighting for nothing but another square meal. Or in his case, a round one. No, our freedom has always been fought for us by the people with their feet on the ground in the street. And they got to be about that life. Soft niggas ain't gonna throw no blows. Soft niggas ain't gonna hold the line. Soft niggas gotta go to work in the morning, and that's their primary concern. The fellas who they live that street life, those are the fellas holding it down for the block, for the neighborhood, for their turf, for that area. And nobody gonna come rolling in the wrong way. Period. That's who fought for and won our freedom for us. Whether you go all the way back to Nat Turner, Jason, he was a reverend, he was a street dude. Denmark Vesey, street dudes. Harriet Tubman, peace be upon her. That was a street chick. Straight street. I'm talking about a black woman walking around with a gun on her hip during antebellum slavery. Nigga, that's gangster as it gets. It don't get no more gangster than that. And I'm gonna hurt your damn feelings. Harriet Tubman's pistol was not for the white supremacists. It was for any niggas with her that got cold feet or was thinking about snitching. Cause she got off that plantation. She ain't going back. So if you get cold feet, don't worry, the rest of you gonna be cold too. But if you get down with us, this the way it's going. Ain't no backing out. Ain't no backing out. We ain't gonna have you go back and go snitch to them people about what we doing. You either go free or you go dead. One way or the other. She had dealt with house niggas. She had dealt with coons and sambos. She had dealt with that. And she knew how you deal with them. And there was no longer a white supremacist government to protect you. You do something treasonous and treacherous to your people here, your people gonna take care of this. Let's be very, very clear. The biggest gangsters on the planet is the American government.
Damn! What? Damn!
Oh, it is what it is. What you gonna tell me? Are you going to tell me that Larry Hoover was responsible for the murder of Andrew Howard? You want to go there? Let's go there. You want to do that? Let's do that. I duck nothing. What did Andrew Howard allegedly do? Andrew Howard was allegedly stealing. He was allegedly stealing. He knew too much. He knew a bunch. He was sneaking in. He was abusing. They told him, hey, bruh, you know the rules. You know the rules. And he just said, I'm freestyling. And they said, okay, bruh, it don't go this way. And you know that. So he turns up unalive. And I'm not saying that for you two. I'm just saying that as being biologically accurate here. He turns up no longer living. And maybe with 6 holes in his head. He turns up no longer living and with 6 holes in his head. So needless to say, his days of stealing are over. His days of stealing came to a rather abrupt end. Killing folks, messing up the community. Let me explain something to you, old blockhead nigga. Do you know what will happen to you or what can happen to you if you steal from the United States government?
What? Damn!
Oh, you ain't gonna like this. Oh, for some of the damn special ed children who think they gonna wag their fingers at the rest of us and be the moral authority. By the way, do you know what can potentially happen to you if you commit espionage? Well, they use a fancy name like espionage, but espionage simply means you stole or betrayed the government with information. You used information in a criminal, and the criminal simply means against them. If you commit espionage, stealing from the American government, you stole secrets, you stole information, and gave it to somebody else, including yourself. No. You aren't just eligible for prison time. No. You aren't. Some of y'all being real nice and real cupcake and real soft about it. No. You are not just eligible for prison time. You are eligible for execution. If you commit espionage against the American civil government, you are eligible for execution. Not for trying to knock over the government. Please understand, you haven't had, including Aldrich Ames, you haven't had anybody who was really doing something that could actually lead to the downfall of the American government. The Rosenbergs, what they did, I mean, I suppose potentially it could have led, but that would be a really extreme. No, most of the people who have either found themselves executed or imprisoned for life, what they did wasn't something that endangered the United States government as an ongoing concern. It wasn't an existential threat to the American government, but what you have done is crossed the line. You crossed the line. Now, with the American federal government, or the civil government, if you will, as opposed to your street government, the American civil government reserves the right to this day to execute you if you commit espionage. Now, if you steal from the American government, you can die. Not just go to jail. You can die if you steal from the American government. And if any of you think that CBS or ABC or NBC or Fox is going to come riding to your rescue, You know you can't do this. This is a shame. This is a pity. Why are you talking about this is a shame, nigga? They talking about execute. He stole from the gun. They get right to the extreme. You think they gonna do wall-to-wall documentaries for you? You think that's what's gonna happen? You think the Associated Press is gonna do a week-long series for you? You think that's going to occur? I want to know who really thinks that's gonna happen if you do it. If you think that that's gonna happen if you do it, give me the green check mark emoji in the chat room. But if you say ain't no way in the hell that's gonna happen, give me the red X emoji and hit the likes button. There's over 2,600 people in here live in just the first 15 minutes. But if you think they would do it for you, if you think the media would come riding your rescue, Nancy, you might want to listen again, baby. Oh, Nancy King, I know you straight, baby. You might want to listen again. Oh, hell. Okay, I guess there's a couple of folks who do think it'll happen. Okay, if you think the corporate media would go out of their way and make documentaries and week-long specials to defend you, give me the green check mark emoji. But if you say, hell no, they would never do that, give me the red X emoji. Some of the folk in here like, CBS love us, GBA. You understand? NBC and MSN, Rachel Maddow would break into the news breaking news. Carlos Jenkins, he guilty of espionage. They talking about executing him. We can't let that happen. I mean, what he did was kind of bad there, but we just gonna start for him all weeks. You think that's gonna happen? For anybody sitting up here getting jello booty about it, you think that's going to occur? So if you steal from the civil government, they reserve the right to execute you? You think anybody gonna sit here and do wall-to-wall newspaper articles, week-long specials, documentaries, movies? You think the white corporate media gonna do that? You out your mind. They might do one little old broadcast and then they're on to talk about Katy Perry not being able to sell concert tickets. That's just your ass. So I want to put that in its proper context for you. For some of the moral folks up here who want to lecture people. By the way, you steal from the U.S. government, that's your ass. Ask anybody in the U.S. military. Ask anyone in the U.S. military what can happen to you if you steal ammunition. What? Any of you who are or have been in the U.S. military, if they do a count and inventory of the bullets in the armory and they come up 2 bullets short and they find out you got them, ask my folk in the military what can happen to you if they do a count of the inventory of in the armory of the ammunition, and if they find 1 bullet that ain't there and you got it in your pocket, you go ask them what can happen to you. 1 bullet, not 50. 1. Just 1. They will, let them find 1 bullet and then let them see that you have a Facebook post talking about you don't like your commanding officer. I don't like my sergeant. I don't like the major. Somebody needs to remove him. I don't like him. Then they find you 1 bullet's missing. How you think that gonna go? Now you tell me about how easy they gonna take that. Biggest gangsters on the damn planet. You go off as an American citizen and join a foreign government that America don't like, your ass liable to come up dead. They love it if they can do something to you overseas. Ain't nobody gonna say nothing. You just gone. They love that. Oh, you're just gone. He's an American citizen. Nah, he ain't protected no more. He good as dead now. Then you're going to have some folks who want to play politics about this right here. Oh, Trump is doing this. Trump is doing that. Trump is doing this. Trump is doing that. You know, Trump trying to pull the wool over your eyes. Trump is trying to pander. Trump is trying to do this. Trump is trying to pander. And you may be right there. Trump is the only one who's done this. We ain't heard nothing about the gangster disciples. We ain't heard nothing about none of these people right here. Trump is the only one got anything to do with that. Only one got anything to do with that. Never seen anything like that there before. Nothing like that before. And just said, well, hold on, wait a minute. What is this? What is this? Oh man. January 25th, 2025?
What?
Do my Humpty eyes deceive me? This is dated January 25th. Now it's dated January, right after January 21st, 2025. So the day after Trump got inaugurated, but they were looking over some of the commutations that Biden had given out after Trump took office, and what they found was among that list was Gregory Shell, co-chairman of the Gangster Disciples, one of the lieutenants of Larry Hoover. Oh man. Oh, so this is why you need to have a new black media, because Rolling the Bowling Ball and MSNBC isn't gonna bring you all this. But oh yeah, by the way, before any of you left-wing people and some of you depressed Democrats, before we want to sit up here and talk about the community and whatnot, by the way, Joe Biden didn't have any problem commuting the sentence of the number 2 of the gangster disciples. So if it was okay, and you didn't say a damn word, so if it's totally legit for Joe Biden to commute the sentence of number 2, how is it all of a sudden out of bounds for Trump to commute number 1? Tell me about it. Can you feel me? I need some details. So it's legit for Biden to commute the sentence of number 2, but you out of bounds doing number. It's out of bounds for number 1. So number 2 is legit. Number 1, no. Can't do that. And no, you all didn't hear this information from anywhere else. Nobody dropped this on you from nobody else. They didn't do any of this. They didn't remind you that this just occurred 5 months ago. They didn't tell you any of this. So when I show you all these invoices, damn a receipt, I bring invoices. I don't just tell you what you paid, I tell you what you owe. When I show you these invoices, now what do you say? So it's still not legit, but you didn't have nothing to say 5 months ago. But it's still not legit. Okay. Some of them like, ooh, hold on some more. The state gonna hold on to him there. In Trump's case, that might be smart politics because now he's shifted the pressure from himself. Yeah, he can lift the federal sentence. The state still got a sentence on him, so that puts the pressure on Pritzker. You can't yell at Trump about it no more. Trump's like, hey, I committed him. I gave him a commutation. I did all I can do. You got to go talk to Governor Pritzker now. If nothing else, that gets people out the Oval Office. They're not going to be going to nag him at the Oval Office anymore and say, hey, I already did it. Go talk to Pritzker. And you know what? That's exactly what's happened. Larry Hoover's people and his supporters are on Governor Pritzker's back now. They're on his back saying, hey, Trump can do what he got to do. You got to do it now. So when you think about it, that was smart strategy from Trump. That was smart strategy from him. Now all of them are running Governor Pritzker. And that's why I'm saying it to you like this. That's why I'm saying it to you like this when I take a look at the 720 degrees of the situation. Now, I am not here claiming that I sign off on everything the Gangster Disciples did or anybody else. But I do want to make one thing very clear. I have stood like this now going on 2 decades. I don't know who it was who told you that I'm not about that, but I am. I have never sat up here and condemned the dudes who came up from the streets. We are an occupied people. You can be a young white man who gets into legal trouble, and the society will spend hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars to make sure you got a pathway out for the remainder of your life. Mark Wahlberg, Robert Downey Jr., Justin Bieber, mugshots on all of them. And they made sure that there's a way for them to raise themselves up for the rest of their damn lives. I didn't just say one time. They got a lifelong damn meal ticket for redemption. Lifelong. And then you run up on me and tell me what we ain't supposed to do. Yeah, I ain't even got to the killers now. I haven't even gotten to the killers yet. Some of y'all remember Tim Allen. Tim Allen was drug dealing. You've never seen white people condemn him for that. They called that a colorful part of his past. Look at the comedian who made good. So when you white, you're the comedian who made good. You turn your life around. You turned over a new leaf. When you black, what this nigga think he doing here? Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that time you were dealing drugs. Let's talk about that time you were in prison. Let's talk about those folk you shot over there. Meanwhile, Kyle Rittenhouse and Daniel Penny are in the damn skybox at the NFL.
Damn!
Meanwhile, they're in the skybox at the NFL. But you gonna drag Nate Parker out and talk about, well, he was accused. Daniel Penny and Kyle Rittenhouse were not accused. They were caught on video doing what they did. They were on video killing folk. The media ain't never talked to them like that. So we ain't gonna play this game with you. We are not gonna play this game with you. I'm swinging the damn gavel and I'm saying it's legit. The January 6 people, how many of them ended up committing crimes after they got pardoned?
What?
Remember, I posted it on my Twitter page. If you're not following me on Twitter, you need to. Foundational Black Authority. How many? There were like 3 or 4 of them who they got pardoned and then they turned around and committed crimes. A couple of them killed some folk. Got pardoned, turned right around, and got right back into criminality. Tim Pool didn't say nothing. Megyn Kelly didn't say nothing. Tucker Carlson didn't say nothing. Fox News, Greg Gutfeld didn't say nothing. Now, if it was Black Lives Matters, then they would be sitting there talking about, look at these Black Lives Matter people. They were pardoned, and then less than 30 days later, back in criminality. Should have known that was coming. Some folks are like, what? Yes. Yes, that's literally what happened. That's not what somebody else said. That's literally what occurred. I documented it on my Twitter page just to make sure. By the way, ain't anybody going to be able to go back and erase that or pretend that didn't happen? No, there were several January 6 people just as soon as they got out of prison, either out of prison or as soon as Trump finished pardoning them, they went straight into criminal behavior. Right into it. And if I'm not documenting it, it ain't like any of these other people are going to tell you. Don't look for Mark Lamont Hill to say anything. Don't look for Cornel West to say anything. They're not going to tell you anything. Things happen there. So I got to sit up here and put a spotlight on it. That's why I'm like, hey, wait a minute now. I see the game y'all playing. I'm just not going to play it with you. I'm just not going to play it with you. Nobody's talking about that. I'm just not going to play it with you. You see what the hell was going on? You see what the hell was happening? So when we show up, all of a sudden folks want to sit up here and tell you about what we ain't supposed to do. They're going to tell you about what we're not supposed to do. Oh, no, I ain't going to let this go. Damn that. Let me go ahead and throw it up on your screen for you here. You done messed around and woke me up over here. Let me go ahead and throw this up on the screen for you. For anybody out there who's wondering or disputing or debating, and was it really like that? Yeah, it was really like that. It really was. There's your January 6ers. There you go. That's my Twitter page right there. I didn't bring receipts. I brought invoices. I didn't bring receipts. I brought invoices. And these are just the ones I posted. This Tom Hardy looking fella. I posted January 28th, people. Trump got inaugurated on the 20th. And a week later, Indiana man pardoned by Trump for January 6th role, shot dead by deputy during traffic stop. What? So as soon as he got out the joint, he turning up. As soon as he got out, he turning up. If it was Black Lives Matter, look at still criminals and illegals. Want some more? I got some more. Emily Hernandez. Another of Trump's peaceful rioters, another January 6th insurrectionist Trump pardoned, is heading back to prison, this time for killing a woman in a drunk driving crash. Damn right I'm yelling it because ain't nobody else telling it. Yeah, there's another one. You can look the names up. Got out the damn joint, back to prison for killing somebody. You got the nerve to talk to me about Larry Hoover when most of you weren't even alive when the man was out in the streets and got sentenced. Most of the people listening to me tonight weren't even alive. And you want to talk about folk being let go and folk being pardoned or being their sentences being commuted? You want to talk about that? You want to talk about that? And ain't nobody talking about Emily Hernandez today except Jason Black. I'm the only one talking about Emily Hernandez today. And they're not the only ones. Those are just the two that I posted on Twitter. They're not the only ones. They're not. So you want to run up and tell me about Larry Hoover or NBA YoungBoy? Some folks don't sit up here and think about what the hell's happening. They want to talk about the neighborhood, and I'll be damned, is the government responsible for it? Let's be clear about that. When you are white, they make sure that there's institutions and protocols in place for you. There is nothing that a white man can do to disqualify himself from Silicon Valley except not go. Those are the only ones who are disqualified from going is those who just won't go. There's a lane for you, even if you suck. There is DEI institutionalized in the fabric of America, which is why they want to make sure that there is nothing competing against it. As a white person, you have preferential treatment etched into the fabric. If you show up at Google, you're good. If you want venture capital, you're good. Even for a screwball idea. Elizabeth Holmes and Theranos. What's her face? I don't even want to say her damn name. The Hawk Girl. What? Whatever her legal name is, Haley, whatever. The Hawk Girl. So let me get this straight. She was a damn TikTok meme, and a couple of weeks later, she's got one of the biggest podcasting deals out there? Really? Now tell me how they do that. Tell me anybody you can name that was able to parlay a damn TikTok video about her weird ass sex habits, and next thing you know, everything was handed. She doesn't know anything about podcasting. They came to her and handed it to her and said, here you go. Turnkey, everything is in place. Microphones, lights, studio space rented for you, cameras, internet connection. All you got to do is show up and talk and look stupid. And we got your back. And next thing you know, top of the damn charts. You can't be black and get that. You want to talk about DEI. You can't be black and be completely talentless and a TikTok meme and folks just show up and say, here's everything you need. We just brought studio space. Everything is already here. If you're white, you got to work at being a failure. Not only do you have to not give a damn, you got to put some legwork into it. It's not enough to just not give a damn. You got to not give a damn and then run away from every opportunity you get. You get brought things. Over here, ain't nobody bringing us nothing. And what we do have, they're trying to figure out how they can take it, even if it's illegally. You get something, the first order of business, how can we snatch that from his ass? And you expect me to get upset at the hustlers and the dealers? I need to let y'all know something here tonight. Spoiler, probably shouldn't do it. Probably shouldn't say it. But for those of you who showed up to see my documentary film 8 a.m., y'all remember the beginning of chapter 3. Teddy Riley. I was a hustler before I got in the music business. Dame Dash, so I was a drug dealer. Alonzo Williams from NWA. Eazy-E was a dope dealer. And we can go down the list. Too Short, Snoop Dogg, a whole bunch of other folk y'all wouldn't readily think of. There's a whole bunch of dudes you think are squares from the rap business, and they was dealers. My West Coast people and my New York people will run that game all day. It's a bunch of square fellas you think are square cats from the West Coast. You think, I'm telling y'all right now, from the 80s and the 90s, wasn't nobody really who wasn't dealing coming out the Bay.
What?
Oh, do I gotta say that? From the late 80s to the mid 90s, it wasn't really nobody who wasn't affiliated and wasn't dealing coming out the Bay. I'm not even gonna take you down to LA. Coming out the Bay? Nigga, it wasn't nothing that wasn't dealing coming out the Bay in the late 80s and early 90s. Tell me I'm lying about that. Show me who wasn't dealing and came out the Bay. I don't even have to take you to Southern California. We don't even have to do LA. A whole bunch of folk that y'all think were squares because they didn't talk about dealing. And they was dealing for real. They just didn't want to say nothing about it because a lot of them were looking at charges. Then you can get into Los Angeles. Then you can get to LA. LA was just the one didn't have no shame about it and put it on the bricks. They don't talk about the Bay though. The Bay, LA, New York. What the hell they supposed to do? What the hell they supposed to do? You are being economically disenfranchised across the damn board. Police can come and pick you up, smack you up, and lock you up for anything or nothing at all, and nobody's protecting any damn thing. What the hell they supposed to do? The whole damn society is fighting dirty, and you want me to tell them, look here, you got to be honorable. Man, damn that. Damn that. Fight fire with fire. Fight fire with a flamethrower. You don't want them fellas in the damn streets? Make it easy for them to get out of it. You make it easy for every damn body else. You bring Asians over here and you set them up. You bringing illegal aliens over here and setting them up, and you've been doing that. Let me read you the fundamentals. I'm from Louisiana. After America decides to bomb Vietnam, they grab a bunch of Vietnamese folk and drop them off in New Orleans. They've been doing that thing where they drop folk into black cities. They brought a bunch of Vietnamese to New Orleans, which is why you have a Vietnamese population in New Orleans today. Their claim, this was back in the 70s and 80s, their claim was that, oh, well, these were people from a fishing culture. They had fishing industries over there, so we brought them to New Orleans because that was a place that has a fishing industry. There's a whole bunch of places in America with a fishing industry, all up and down the East Coast. You talk about Maine lobsters. Why didn't they take them up there, up to the East Coast, where the white men go fishing? Oh, there's no systemic racism, but they didn't drop the Vietnamese fishermen off where the white men fish. Now, they didn't drop them there. Now, isn't that interesting? Very interesting. You only dropped them where the black folk are. There's plenty of fishing on the East Coast. But you didn't take them there. None of them qualified to be there. No, in California, you already had Asians by the turn of the 20th century. You already had Asians in San Francisco, San Diego, Los Angeles. So California had already had an Asian population to speak of at that time. Not Louisiana. Not New Orleans. Not New Orleans. And if it was about fishing, you could have taken them up to the New England states. Didn't take any of them. Dropped them all in Louisiana. And then made sure they had their refugee assistance. The police wasn't bothering them or messing with them, shutting down what they were doing. They were given a free lane. They were given a wide open lane to operate and get themselves established. No one was inhibiting them. No one was giving obstacles to them. No one was targeting them. No one was stopping them. California, if you're black with no car insurance, they're going to tow your car. If you're Latino, illegal alien with no car insurance, oh, well, it'd be a hardship for us to tow your car. That's targeting. That is targeting. Now, if you are so blind or pig-headed that you're looking at that kind of outrageously targeting treatment and illegally disparate treatment and saying, oh, well, just get as a pass, man, look here, you different from me. I ain't that stupid. You talk about the folks doing good today. You don't want to hear this. You can talk about Dr. Dre and Beats all you damn well want to. You ain't said a damn thing if you don't take it back to the gangsters in the streets. You would not have an Ice Cube, who wasn't really a gang member, but you get the idea. You wouldn't have that if it wasn't for the gangsters in the streets. The square niggas wasn't giving nothing. They had to build it for themselves because the damn square niggas at UCLA wasn't giving nothing. They didn't reach back to help anybody. They went off to the suburbs, married a few white women, and told everybody else, kiss their ass, get it how you live. Okay, so I'm supposed to condemn them because you abandoned them and they got it how they live? So I'm supposed to condemn them for that? Man, you don't get the hell out of my damn face. You don't sit up here and take people and put them in dire circumstances and handicap them and put them under impossible conditions and then tell me, okay, here are the rules. Those are the rules for the people who aren't in impossible conditions. Those are the rules for the people who don't have handicaps hampering them. Those are the rules for them. You don't give the rules to the people who don't have any impediments and don't have any handicaps and then put it on the people that you got locked down in the damn cellar somewhere. If you're fighting unfair, persecutory circumstances, damn it, you do what you got to do. Hell no, I ain't mad at Harry O. And I said that.
And deal with it, nigga.
I talked to Freeway Rick. Hell no, I'm not mad at Freeway Rick. Couldn't read, couldn't write. Wasn't nobody doing a damn thing for him. Well, some of them fall through the cracks. Okay, well, that's easy to say when you ain't the one done fell through the damn cracks. What if he doesn't want to be your damn statistic? What if he doesn't? You can sleep at night knowing that he's going to be a statistic. Oh, well, isn't that a shame? Too bad, there are disparities and inequities, and unfortunately, he's a victim of inequity. Okay, that's easy for you to say. You ain't the one got to be the statistic and be the inequity. So we're going to look at the folk who got to be the oh, well, sucks to be you. Man, you do what the hell you got to do since these other folk over here talking crazy and acting crazier. You don't get to sit up here and tell people that you're going to lock them down and they just got to sit there and accept their fate. You don't want them in the streets, Dylan? You better open up a lane for them before they open up one of their own. You don't want them out there on the block? You better open up a lane for them before they open up one for themselves, and you ain't gonna like how they do it. Well, you have an opportunity. If you don't like it, open up a different one. Wasn't nobody giving Eric Wright, a.k.a. Eazy-E, nothing. He had to hit them streets and hit that block, and then he showed you, hey, I got the deal because ain't nobody, I'm in California, funding son. I'd like to have some damn seed money, but I wasn't born white. So I got to get out here on these corners and get it my damn self. I'm not trying to be 60 damn years old, starting my damn career and starting life. A bunch of white, y'all got to understand, from the 1950s to the 1980s, young white people could just pop up in California and they were set. They could go into movies, they could go into music, they could go into advertising, they could go into modeling, they could go into businesses. That was it. Y'all don't want to hear what I'm about to tell you here next. You don't want me to go here, but I'm going to go here. Man, I done traveled from sea to shining sea in this country. I can tell you right now, my first times going to both California and Florida. And I'm from Northwest Louisiana. It's about as landlocked as you can be. It's not like I'm from the coast, whatever Louisiana has that qualifies as a coast. But I'm telling you, I've met so many young white people who owned they owned tire shops, they owned restaurants, smoothie shops, ice cream stores, yoga studios, bakeries, young white people, young. I'm talking about in their mid-20s, man. That's long been the thing. My folks in Hawaii, same thing up there. Young white people, not middle-aged, young. Got stores. I'm not talking about a pop-up stand or a kiosk. I'm talking about got storefronts, man. What the hell? You think if Eazy-E could have had that, he'd be on the damn corner? It's like, hey, man, ain't nobody offering you nothing legit. All they doing is trying to lock us up out here because they don't want us to have anything. And then got some jackass from UCLA or some pimp preacher telling me about what I'm doing's wrong. Meanwhile, them niggas in the damn back pocket of the white supremacists at City Hall. Ain't that something? No, y'all do what y'all got to do. Eazy-E came up, and then Eazy-E got a bunch of other black folk up too. Eazy-E came up, and after Eazy-E came up, a bunch of other black folk came up too. Not just NWA. Remember, he had a bunch of other folks sign the Ruthless records. Was JJ Fad on Ruthless? I don't want to just Google this right quick, but was JJ Fad on Ruthless? We know Michelle A. But was JJ Fad on Ruthless? That's about as non-gangster as you can get. That's as non-gangster as you can get. JJ Fad and Supersonic. That's as non-gangster as you can get. I'm not even going forward to the Bone Thugs era. I'm just keeping it back at the very beginning. As soon as Eazy-E came up, a bunch of other folk who never would have gotten that chance came up too. Now, some of them might have used their opportunities better than others. Some of them might have made more of their chances than others. It is what it is, man. But Eazy didn't just come up by himself. When he got done, a bunch of other folk came up too. That's what happened with your dope dealer money. If they could have gotten some seed capital and hadn't been discriminated against and oppressed, yes, I'm using that language. If you're not being oppressed and discriminated against, when you walk into the damn bank, you don't have some white folk that say, well, you know, hey, you look like a good kid. When you're white, you can blow loans all over the damn place. Elizabeth Holmes and Theranos, you're talking about a scientific breakthrough that nobody went through to verify or validate. Gave her millions and millions of dollars, and nobody went to go check the paperwork or look at anything. And we're talking about hedge fund managers and some of the richest folk in America didn't check anything. She was white enough and right enough, and that was all she needed to get a blank check. And she's just one among many. We would be sitting here talking about the fraudsters and con artists all damn year if I started tonight. Somebody said FTX, another masterclass. You don't want us to do this. That wasn't millions, that was billions of dollars. Billions of dollars. And nobody demanded that they validate their paperwork. Safe Moon, they just ended up putting them in jail. Nobody went to validate their paperwork. You get three niggas together talking about a cryptocurrency, man, get the hell out of here. The SEC will open up an office in the next bedroom next to you. They'll be talking to every damn body involved. You show us everything. We want to see exactly where it's at. Ease on over to Too Short. Dope dealing money. You don't want to hear it? How many of y'all go back in the day and know that? What do you tell you? I got it straight from the hustlers, players, and pimps. Go listen to Players Ball with E40. You think he making it up? Ice-T, we can go down the list, people. Death Row Records, Harry O. There is a direct line from big dope dealer money to Dr. Dre becoming a billionaire. Or at least having hundreds of millions of dollars. A direct line, not an indirect one. There is a direct line from Harry O to Dr. Dre and Beats. A direct one. Oh yeah, and a bunch of white men who made hundreds of millions of dollars. They put the black folk in prison, but Ted Fields and Jimmy Iovine and all the white men at Warner, they made hundreds of millions. Nobody ever breathed a word about putting them in prison. Nobody ever said a word about locking them up. Not a syllable. Well, you know, they in California, y'all giving out seed money to every damn body else. You got a fund in California that's got billions of dollars for the quote unquote homeless. It's a damn scam. If you would quit bull jiving with the money and drop some of that on these fellas that you've been oppressing all this damn time and marginalizing and stealing from. You were supposed to have social equity for everybody y'all locked up for selling marijuana back in the day. Now it's legal. Never did make that right. Gave most of the licenses to Kim Kardashian's people. Shout out Kim. Gave it to Armenians who weren't targeted or arrested by anybody. Just got here and you making sure there's a lane opened up for them. Oh, there was a problem with the website. Okay, then you need to take some of them billions of dollars and go hand that over here and we'll call it even about your quote unquote problems with the website. Got the nerve to sit up here and wag your finger at me for the gangsters. When the police sit up here and start targeting people, that goes different. We're not looking for the clergy and the daycare people and the pointy-headed intellectuals. We don't need another nigga to jump up there on MSNBC and talk about historical inequities. I put my name out there. I put my work out there. I was out there on the street, and when folks got arrested, I was bailing them out of my own pocket. And will continue to do so. Y'all don't even know half of the folk I got involved that I was doing that for, by the way, because I don't sit up here and round this and say the names of the kind of stuff. Just do the work. Just do the work. That was a high profile episode. That wasn't the only one. Do the damn work. And folks need to know that they got support for that. Niggas sit up here and get good and then want to sit up here and go buy a Ferrari and leave the streets to fend for itself. They want to sit up here and go buy a fancy car and house in the suburbs and leave the streets fending for itself. And then condemn them when they find an alternative strategy to overcome white supremacy. Now we're going to condemn them? I'm not going to have a bunch of niggas who was hiding out gonna sit up here and wag their finger at folks who was frontline. I'm not going to have it. And I'm not going to support it. I'm more concerned about where you going. I'm not going to look at people who are oppressed and handicapped and beaten down and persecuted and they ain't got nothing and then tell them you can't do anything. They got to do what they got. If you ain't going to help them, they got to do what they got to do to get out this hole. You're not going to like it. Niggas are not going to like what the hell I'm going to say. I ain't mad at Nicki Minaj. What? I ain't. This ain't the lineage time. Pause. This ain't lineage time. You got some chicks who was on the pole. You got some chicks who was turning tricks. You got some chicks who was doing that something strange for some change. I am not saying that I prefer you to do that. I am not suggesting that as a business strategy. I am saying, by the way, if nobody's helping you, that shouldn't be a first option. But what the hell if ain't nobody doing nothing? No, if nobody's doing anything, they're sitting there looking at you in a damn destitute state and nobody's doing anything. So you supposed to just sit there and be moralistic? Well, I'm broken and struggling over here and ain't got nothing, but I am righteously impoverished though. And, I am pious. I am on the righteous side of these things. Man, what the hell? What the hell? We're the only folk that people try to sell that garbage to. These white gals can get, yes, I said it. These white gals can get out of here and get buck wild with it. Kim Kardashian's only contribution to humanity was laying naked up under Ray J. What? That was her sole contribution to the human race. That and some interesting eyeshadow. That's been her sole contribution to man. That's gonna be on her tombstone. Lamest sex video ever witnessed. That's what that will be. And they made her family billionaires. As a result, billionaires. Beyonce gotta sit up here and make Blue Ivy dance her little feet off so that she can earn the right to actually make a name for herself. Yeah, Blue Ivy actually has to be able to do something. The Hawk Girl can just answer a damn TikTok video. Here's a few million for you. Call me daddy. Ooh, you're blonde enough and small enough. Here's a few million. And we're going down the damn list. Tim Pool, you're a lame little mouse voice. You and Ben Shapiro. Here's a few million. That's what happens with everybody else. And you gonna tell us, okay, you got the odds stacked against you like that? What is Katy Perry's talent? What the hell does she do? And I can keep naming names. We're the only ones that folk play this garbage with, man. We're the only ones. And meanwhile, you and your kids got to actually have a talent. You have to actually be able to excel at something. You ain't gonna like this. Cassie didn't have nothing.
Damn!
Oh, well, it is what it is. I would say that Cassie was a one-hit wonder, but in reality, Me and You was actually just half a hit. That wasn't even a whole hit. That's it. But she had to actually be able to do something. She couldn't just stand next to Diddy and be eye candy. She had to actually do something. Young Miami had to actually do something. You might not like City Girls. I understand. She had to actually do something. Kim Kardashian got rich being a throw rug.
And deal with it.
Call it for what it is. Kim Kardashian got famous for being a beach towel. And she was about as active as a beach towel, too. That's what she got rich doing. I'm not even talking about the white women in the legitimate porn business. Kim Kardashian got famous being a shirt laying on the ground. She got famous for being a beanbag. And that was enough. And it wasn't just her. Her, all her sisters, her mama. It wasn't just one. Think about that for a few moments. Beyonce has to be outrageously talented. Blue Ivy has already had to show shades of not just talent, but outrageous talent. The Kardashians just had to be white. Here's a few billion for you. Hawk Tua just gotta be white. That's it. Call Me Daddy just gotta be white. Here's your millions. And then gonna tell you and me, oh, them gangsters doing it wrong. And by the way, let me go into the next damn bit of it. People, for those of you who do not know, Hollywood and the American music business industry was started by gangsters.
What?
No, I'm talking about the white ones.
What? Damn! What?
Y'all know that? At least you should. The mafia. And I'm not just talking about the Italian mafia. The Italian mafia, the Jewish mafia, they were all mobbed up in the American cinema industry and the American recording industry. That's why the record labels are run like mafia families. The porn business in America, pornography was paid for and financed by the American mafia. Don't believe me? Google it and try to prove me wrong. If I'm lying, Google it and try to prove me. There's a whole bunch of books been written about it, by the way. Spoiler alert. But your movie industry and your music industry, those were suburbs of the mafia. Not just the Italian. And many people say they still are today. By the way, not just that they were, many people say they still are today. We ain't gonna get into boxing. You taking me too far. I ain't gonna go in that direction. You taking me too far. We're not gonna talk about boxing. We're not going to talk about MMA. Shout out to you, Dana White. Dana White, who ran afoul of gangsters in Russia. Oh, am I not supposed to remind people of that? Dana White ran afoul of gangsters in Russia when he was trying to do boxing. That's why he can't go back to Russia. Dana White does not, UFC's not holding events in Russia because as a younger man trying to get in the boxing industry, Dana White ran afoul of gangsters in Russia. So Dana can't really go back to Russia like that. He got to make it pop over here. He can grab some athletes from Russia, but as far as him doing the thing in Russia, that's not really an option. And you want to talk to me about Larry Hoover? You want to talk to me about Larry Hoover? Oh, some folks are in here learning some things tonight. They're like, damn, I didn't know that. There's a bunch of folk in here learning some things. All right, some folks need to do some Googling. We ain't going to stop the program here. In any case, you ain't got a damn thing to say to me about no Larry Hoover. You don't. Let me explain something to you. Larry Hoover was in that street business. Larry Hoover was in the street business. I'm from Louisiana, street business all over. Here's the way it go. The reason why we don't tolerate snitching in the street business is, nigga, you know what it is. Hyman Roth in The Godfather Part 2. We all knew what, I saw my friend get killed, and we knew what it was. I didn't say nothing because I knew what the business was we were in. I saw Mo Green get killed, and I knew something was funny, but I didn't say nothing because I knew that this is the life we chose. This is what we got into. Every damn body who walk out there know what it is. If you gonna walk into the street business, then you need to understand what you are in. Don't come out in no street business if you're not about that life. Period. Don't hang around dope dealers and hustlers cause you think it's cute. They ain't living no cute life. It's dead ass what they do. You go marching your happy ass over there, you paying your money and taking your chances. Somebody parents need to tell them that. Cause we got some fruit booty Jolly Rancher folk out here acting like the damn world's a playground and then want to get indignant and mortified when you find out it's grimy. You don't go hang out with hustlers and street dudes. You know, I think grimy is exciting like it's a damn television program. You about to find out it's all the way real. Don't hang out with gangsters if you ain't up for some gangster stuff. Don't hang out with hustlers if you ain't into the hustling. Don't hang out with hoes if you ain't with the hoeing. That's the corniest ass thing in the damn world. You knew what it was when you walked in. Got some folk today don't like what the hell I'm saying. Jason ain't never really condemned hoes like that. I'm like, we don't hate hoes around here. Long as you straight up about the hoeing. We don't hate hoes here. I don't hate Kim Kardashian for it. Hey, she got the bag. I'm not upset with her. I'm just like, hey, but I know the game is rigged. Oh, please look for somebody else. Look for somebody else to water it down. I've been saying this to you going on 2 decades. I ain't gonna switch up a damn thing. Did you think I was that type of square nigga? It is not the case. I ain't got nothing against hoes. It is what it is. You just got to be straight about the hoeing. You can be a hoe around me. You can't be a liar. You can be a hoe around me, but you can't be a liar. You can be a hoe and sit at the table with me. Ben did that. You don't want me to say y'all's names.
What?
You can sit at the table with me and be a hoe. What you cannot be is be a liar.
Hoe, please.
Don't tell me that you squeaky clean. Don't tell me none of that. I didn't sit you down because I don't know what you is. I sat you down because I know what you are, and I can deal with you where you are. I can't deal with a liar. I can accept a hustler. Sit at the table. Make sure it is what it is. Don't tell me you some squeaky clean dude. Don't try to pull that on me. We don't have to talk about your business. We ain't got to talk about that. But don't come up to me talking about the love of Jesus and I know you in these streets. Don't do that. You're insulting my intelligence. You're insulting my experience. You from the streets. What's understood ain't got to be explained. I respect it for what it is. We're moving off of that. Don't try to convince me that that's not what you are. What you are, that's what you're going to be. I can deal with you from there. I can't deal with you trying to tell me, treat me like something I ain't. It ain't going to be that way. It's not going to be that way. Long as we keep it real, we straight. If we keep it real, we straight. I don't have to investigate your business. Baby, you ain't got to tell me the tricks you was turning and like that. I don't have to hear all that. But don't tell me that that's not what you do. Don't say that. If you think you gonna hoe your way to a record deal, baby, you one of the million who done tried. You not the first. You're one of the million. I hope it works out for you. Like I hoped it worked out for the other million who didn't get it. But let it be what it's gonna be. I'm not gonna hate you for it. If you had to deal some dope, if you had to do what you had to do because the deck is stacked, let me explain something to y'all. Ain't nobody black was dealing drugs because it was fun and they came from an upper middle class family with disposable income.
Nigga, please.
Y'all folks talk stupid and crazy. Ain't nobody in the Jackson family today dealing no drugs. Nobody in Jay-Z and the Carter's family is dealing no drugs. Ain't nobody doing nothing illegal. People who got money ain't getting off in the nefarious things. People who ain't got nothing gotta take chances like that. The folk who come from families that got it and they're already straight, they're not doing nothing like that. They don't have to. Got an 850 credit score and $250,000 in savings. What drug dealing? That's interrupting going to the bank. The folk who don't have anything have to resort to that. The people who don't have anything gotta pull them techniques. Some of y'all been sitting up here breathing your own damn air so long and sitting up here trying to project your situation on the other people, and your situation ain't so great to begin with, by the way. Everybody doesn't want to sit up and spend their life wondering what could have been. Everybody doesn't want to do that. I don't give a damn who it is you talking about. If they black and got $1 million they had to work for it, ain't nobody handing us nothing. You can't name a single black person with $5 million who didn't have to do something worthwhile to get it. They had to earn that. Ain't nobody handing us nothing. Nothing. Got niggas more upset with Larry Hoover than the U.S. government and the Chicago government. They sold off all your parking meters to a bunch of white men and banks and Arabs. What? We already dealt with that. For the next 75 years, they have already recouped their money within the first 10 years. And now for the next 75 years, they just get to own the parking meters in Chicago. They've already tried to take it to court to overturn it. And I'll be damned, a municipal government lost in court. The government, the judges, and I want to say it was a federal judge, they said, oh, no, you can't get out of that deal you signed. Yeah, the city of Chicago, you can't get out of that deal. Yeah, you're the government, but you can't get out of the deal you signed. Now, ain't that something? Now, if your black ass got shortchanged by the city of Chicago, you just ass out. And the court gonna be like, oh, well, the city can do what they want to. Let me tell y'all something. Eminent domain. Why is it that Chicago doesn't enact eminent domain? Because they enact that on black folk all over this damn country to take anything big, small, or otherwise. Eminent domain will do everything. Except when some white folks showed up, all of a sudden the court told them you can't do anything to them. Not even eminent domain. You can't do anything to them. Now, if we had that kind of protection and that kind of support and that kind of resources, we wouldn't have a damn thing to complain about because we'd already have this damn thing popping from sea to shining sea. You can go to hell trying to sit up here and lecture me about Larry Hoover. If you didn't do a damn thing to help, far as I'm concerned, you ain't got nothing to say. However, you might disagree, but if you do, you did wrong. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and open up the Zoom for you here so you can have your opportunity to go ahead and weigh in if you choose to do so. I want to thank everyone who has contributed to tonight's program on PayPal, Super Chat, Venmo. Shout out to my man, Brian. Thank you very much for your support tonight. We appreciate that. My man, Mr. Rich Bird. Thank you for your support as well here. To Keenan, Clinton, Bruce Warren there in the Super Chat. I got Logic Before Emotion. He gave out some gifts tonight, gift memberships. The gift that keeps on giving, Bruce Warren. Everybody else there, thank you very much for your support as well. We're going to take a very brief commercial, non-commercial break. When we come back, we'll probably see about taking a few of your calls and more. This is the Black Channel.
When you visit MrBeTheTeacher.com, you can get a copy of his award-winning book, Guidelines for the Successful Student. While you're there, grab one of his newest tunes along with fun and educational lyric videos.
Never give up, don't worry, never give up, study. In order to
times 1 is 2, 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 3 is 6. 2
times swap names, he, she, they, and we. Simplify the daddy divides as the fathering guide. Money multiplies and shares of what they buy.
You can also acquire his tutoring services via varsitytutors.com or tutor.com. If you wish to speak to Steve Burgess directly, you can do so through MrBeTheTeacher.com.
The Honey Badger and the Mongoose is a children's story for the family of how a honey badger and mongoose fight an evil alliance of venomous cobra snakes and hyenas that overhauls the balance of the savannah. The Big Five. The honey badger demands reparations. Will the Big Five give the honey badger reparations? Can the evil alliance of cobras and hyenas be stopped? The best new price for the hard and soft cover is at www.thehoneyBadgerandthemongoose.com. You can also find this book at Amazon, Audible, and Kindle.
Order yours today. to experience all the benefits of Ash Kickin' Body Butter. With skin so smooth and soft, you'll thank us for it. Shop Ash Kickin' online. That's ASHKICKIN.com.
Hi, this is Brenda Starr, creator of Poetry with a Purpose and author of the book Pressed But Not Crushed. Pressed But Not Crushed is an anthology of political poems that address current and historical issues in American descendants of slave population and African American population. The book describes slaveries and its residuals, Jim Crow segregation, social depredation, and other relevant issues to American descendants of slaves and African Americans, including the current political climate that does not address our issues.
This is the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. Very glad to be with you all here this evening. We're going ahead and open up the Zoom for you here if you want to weigh in tonight. We're talking about Larry Hoover. And I'm just reminding people that, first of all, Joe Biden, before he left office, commuted the sentence of Gregory Shell, who was number 2 under Larry Hoover in the Gangster Disciples. Now Trump is, well, he commuted the sentence. And now Trump has come along and he's commuted number 1. There's some folks who might feel some way about it. You might think it's political pandering or whatever. Maybe Trump's close brush with the law has made him a little bit more sensitive about that. Although this still doesn't take the place of mass benefits for us. It doesn't take the place of that. Doing one thing for one person is not a substitute for doing something for everyone. Let's be clear about that. Doing something for one person is not a substitute for doing something for everyone. So that's why I talk about this being a symbolic political gesture. Yeah, Kanye showed up. Yes, it's going to make a bunch of headlines. Yeah, but we are not deceived. Doing something for Larry Hoover does not equate to doing something for black people. However, it is significant. I'm not going to overlook that. That is significant. Let me go ahead and jump over here on Zoom right quick. Okay, we got Brother Elijah over here on Zoom. What's on your mind, Brother Elijah?
Hey, big brother Jason, B1 to you and the family. Hey, brother, I learned a long time ago to because I wanted to add to your points, because you said a lot of amazing stuff tonight on this broadcast. I learned a long time ago, give the devil his due. All right. Look, nobody's perfect out here. And on a positive note, I'm not going to hold Mr. Hoover's past against him. I'm happy he got out. All right.
He's not out yet. His federal sentence has been commuted, but he still has to deal with the state.
Right. I'm happy he's not trapped on both places. And now this is going to put far more pressure on Governor Pritzker if he's this so-called liberal Democratic governor, as he says. This was a chess move on Trump to see, let's see what your Democrats are going to do.
Yeah, I mean, look, Pritzker doesn't have a problem with illegal aliens, illegal alien felons, illegal alien killers. He doesn't have a problem with that. So don't get sedity now.
Right. So let's see what that happens. But I'll give Trump his due, and I'm happy, look, that was far behind him. But I'm out here in California, and
nigga, what you doing out there in California? This nigga, y'all, Elijah go from everywhere from Timbuktu to Canada. What are you doing in California?
Well, I'm about to watch the movie Sinners, but I had to take care of something tomorrow.
Y'all, brother Elijah got that. He got that hairline finally put together. He's showing it right now. He's showing it. I told y'all this was going to happen. I told y'all that them Turks put that hairline together for Elijah. He hit the first thing. As soon as he grew out, he hit the first thing with wings to LA. He said, I'm going to give me a bat. He said, I got my hairline together. I'm going to give me a baddie. Brother, I am not mad at you whatsoever. I am not mad at you at all, but live your life. Then them Turks put their hairline up there. He said, I'm killing everything. He said, ain't nothing on the street safe. I warned y'all this was going to happen. I told y'all, when that hairline grow out for Elijah, ain't nothing on the street safe. Nothing. That's it. But y'all better lock your grandmamas up. This nigga been on the shelf for about 15, 20 years now. Oh, he pulling everything. Oh, size 6 to 60. He pulling everything.
No. I still gotta. I'm still in the gym. I still gotta get some weight down. We coming. I'm coming.
Nigga, it's a heifer on disability. She'll take you just like you is right now.
No.
You have to work your weight up, bro. You have to work it down. You going to work it down.
I wish I could do that, but you drop too much game on the business, so your other broadcasts for me to settle for that now. So I can't
dude, look here. It's a lonely chick. It's a lonely size 10 out there in L.A. She want her little teddy bear. She gonna call you her little huggy bear. So there's no reason you should have to parlay and do without.
No, I'm a firm believer. 2 wrongs don't make a right. All right. No. All right. If I'm gonna be, I gotta be the bigger one in the relationship, not the woman. She cannot match me. No way. All right. No disrespect. But
y'all gonna make it work.
Oh no, I hear you. I hope so. But I wanted to say something. You know how you was you just mentioned, you was talking about Eazy-E, and he wish he had those opportunities. He had to do the street situation. Well, I found out something very disturbing just last week. Not changing the subject, but what you was talking about, they just want to lock us up and they don't want us to own anything. Black Sam, the late great Nipsey's older brother, he fulfilled Nipsey's dream and opened the Marathon Burger store, and he didn't do it at Crenshaw and Slauson. He went to Melrose Avenue. I want to say 750 Melrose Avenue, and the same thing Nipsey was suffering on Crenshaw and Slauson. Now that same nonsense with the LAPD going harassing the employees, harassing the customers, the same thing. And this is just 5 years fresh out of the George Floyd situation. And we're right back to that. And what you just said, that struck a chord in me because, hey, they're wiping us out right here in California alone. They are doing everything they can. If you are a black man trying to do something positive, even something as innocent as selling burgers, they want to sabotage.
Brother, you selling burgers today, you be selling real estate tomorrow. White supremacy understands and has always understood the necessity of attacking children. And children isn't just biological kids, it's also your ideas, your progress. I've said this to y'all for decades. White supremacy doesn't wait around. They believe in snuffing the baby out in his crib. They believe in that. When they see babies, oh, he wiggled his toe, snatch his ass up. They don't wait till you get viable. If you even look like you're going to be a problem, you're a baby, oh, the baby got to go. We're not going to wait around. The baby got to go. So they don't wait for us to get big and metastasize. Turkey Leg Hut, they were after them from day one. Day one.
Yes, sir.
And that's just one story among many. That is our story right there. So we have to be prepared for that and understand that that's what we're dealing with, and not have black folks sitting up here talking stupid like that's not the circumstances we're living under. I'll let you have the last word.
Yes, sir. Hey, brother, look, thank you for tonight's broadcast. All right. I'm going to leave the floor open for the other brothers and sisters. Be one. That's all I got. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight here. Now, let me get back over here on Zoom right quick. Now, folks, do be aware of one thing here, brothers and sisters, very, very important here. Superpower Media now, you do know we're supposed to have one call per weekend, correct?
Oh, yes, sir. I'm sorry about that.
It's all right. Thank you very much for giving us a call, folks. If you're on Zoom and stuff, one call per weekend. All right, I want to make sure I can get as many people in as I can. So just have us one call per weekend. Although I'm glad to hear we're interesting enough for that. Let me see if I can get Daryl up here on Zoom. All right, we got Daryl on Zoom. What's on your mind, Daryl?
Hey, how you doing, Jason? Thank you for having me on. And I just want to say, excellent broadcast as always. You know we 10 tones down with you. First off, the thing with Trump trying to do the Larry Hoover thing, and I'm a Chicagoan. They could do whatever they want to do as far as that's concerned. That's symbolism, just like you said. But at the same time, we know what the entrapment was in the original situation anyway. That's the people that here know that. And the thing is that you spoke about the people that are getting things done through other means, such as selling drugs, such as doing everything to get their weight up and then going ahead to do other things. And that's been true. You hit the nail right on the head on all of that, what you said. And the bottom line is that we've seen it done so many times. They've stopped us from getting loans, tried to stop us from doing that. Even when you had good credit, they gave you sometimes, but they didn't give it to everybody. They picked who they wanted to get it. And still we got through past everything. And we still strive. And they ain't stopping us from doing nothing. But at the same time, they changed the laws. So when we get past that one, it's the next set of laws they're trying to put in place, or executive orders, or whatever direction they're trying to go with that. And you always told us, white supremacy, they play both sides of the fence as always. You said that numerous amount of times. And that's so much of a fact. But we just got to stay on code and do what we got to do and take it to a whole new level. We appreciate what you're saying, Jason, because that's just facts right off the bat. Nothing more, nothing less.
Well, brother, look here. In Chicago in particular, imagine what y'all could have done in Bronzeville. I'm just choosing one place.
Yes,
in Bronzeville, I know them blocks. When they set up the Whole Foods over there next to Kennedy King College. I did that in my documentary film, Gentrified. I went there on the spot. Yes. I'm sitting there looking at that. Brother, folk don't understand. Now, I know you know the area. Across the street over there, those were vacant lots, big ass vacant building that had graffiti all over it and stuff. Yes, brother, what in the hell could y'all have done with the $50 million that Brandon Johnson gave the illegals in 1 year out of nowhere? Here y'all go, $50 million. What the hell could Bronzeville have done with $50 million? Just Bronzeville.
That's right. They would have turned that thing inside out. That would have been a beautiful place over there. Businesses galore. Probably somebody would have renovated one of those spots over there and made a hotel out of it. Because people going to be creative. So they're going to get as many things. Nice bistros, nice eateries, nice stuff, beautiful grocery stores over there, other things that are going on. That money would have been used wisely. That's bottom line. It would have been used wisely.
Brother, I want y'all to think about something, because I'm saying that right there. And the next thing I think about is Harold's Chicken.
Yes.
Now, Halstead Avenue. I ain't got to say nothing else. And what I'm saying is that imagine what $50 million would do on the south side, Halstead's Chicken. I'm giving that as one ride, because I drove down there and I'm like, okay, don't turn off the street because it's a sketchy neighborhood. But I'm saying, what would $50 million do around that? And I'm saying it for a reason. Yes. White businesses, and when they get together with city planning, I want y'all to, this happens in Chicago, but this happens everywhere. Chicago, Miami, Dallas, DC, Atlanta. They find what they call an anchor tenant, or they've chosen an area. And they they did that with Cabrini Green when they cleared out and everything. And I haven't been to Chicago in a minute, so I need to get back through there so I can go check out them old spots and see what's happened with them. I need to check out where Cabrini Green used to be to see if they finished that area over there, because they were building those mixed use developments when I was there. They were building that, so I'm pretty sure they hadn't built over where Cabrini was yet by the time I left, but I'm pretty sure they probably have already finished that.
Yes, they have.
And I want to see that, and I want to see Lincoln Yards. Those are the two things I want to see. So I need to get back up there to Chicago. It's warm right now, so I might sneak my way up there, because I was up there last year, but I need to sneak. I was up there last year, but I didn't get to move around. I was up there last year, but I didn't get to move around. So 2025, I'm gonna try to get back up there y'all's way. I went straight to Trump Tower, but
all right.
What they do is they get together with them people, and then they throw a bunch of money into it. These are not private developments, people. These are private and public developments.
That's right.
Hudson Yards in New York City was a private-public partnership. You damn right I'm banging the table. United States Senator Chuck Schumer got together, for those of you who don't know, to make Hudson Yards possible in New York City. They had to pave, they built this great big concrete overlay on top of the subway tracks that were coming through there. They had to get federal money for that. That wasn't the developers. That was my tax dollars in Louisiana paying for the concrete overlay so they can build skyscrapers for the mega rich in New York. So-called billionaires row, and they didn't have to pay for all of it. Same thing with Lincoln Yards. Same thing with the Cabrini Green development. Same thing with downtown. That big ass hole in the ground. They're finally starting on that tower there. Those are public-private partnerships, and nobody's explaining that to y'all like that.
No.
So they find a business, and then they go in on it, and then next thing you know, they sitting up here helping all these other folk get rich, and you thinking, well, they pulled themselves up by their bootstraps. Bull crap!
No, they didn't.
Now imagine what a Harold's Chicken could do with a $50 million infusion. I'm just naming one, brother. Y'all got black folk got all kinds of businesses over Chicago. Folk don't understand, man. Y'all got all kinds of business between Chicago and Houston. Damn Atlanta. No disrespect to Atlanta. Folk don't think about Chicago the way. Black folk got businesses all over Chicago and all over Houston. You're talking about Nipsey Hussle and them in California. But I've been by Bun B Spot Trill Burger over there in Houston. I've been by there. There's all kinds of places, but you all don't get that accompanying investment where the city comes to you and be like, okay, you build this right here, and around that, we're going to build a shopping center around that so that you can be an anchor tenant, and then we build out the economics from there. That don't happen when you show up. Not at all.
Right. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. You're absolutely right, Jason. On the west side of Chicago, it was an area over there they didn't want him to touch. And everybody's drunk Uncle Lori Lightfoot wouldn't even go over there. We purchased that. People purchased that. I got involved with that myself. And they done built buildings over there. They got stuff in the recreation center, everything over there. And see, these are areas where you just talked about. That's a classic example of when we argue with these things. They don't want us to be even in the room when that conversation's had. They don't even want us to be there. But we still make it happen anyway. And there's a lot of black businesses, a ton of black businesses out here. Anything you want to get black. Anything you want to buy, normally you can get it here and find a black person running that business. That's something that you can find in Chicago. And you can find it in Houston too. I found that down there. Been in Houston, been in Atlanta, been in New York City. And I seen where they did that thing out there in Lincoln Yards. That's unbelievable what they did out there. But again, you're absolutely right. You hit it nail on all cylinders there, man. Everything that you said is factual.
And by the way, that's not the only one. They're working on another mega development in Atlanta. They're working on the mega development in Atlanta, a mega development in Miami. Yes. There's a number of them, and these are public-private partnerships. The city and in many cases the state team up with them, and they pull $50 million out their damn ears for illegals, and then tell y'all what they can't do.
Quicker than a snap of a finger. Quicker than a snap of a finger. That's very true, Jason. And we've been arguing with that for the longest. And then when they turn around and see that, okay, all of a sudden we got quiet. We go on it, we pool our money together and we go get it. And it messes them up when we do it every time. It's just like that the group down there in Atlanta, they did that together. They went and got the acreage of land. And see, they were talking to those people. They didn't want to listen. Okay, no problem. Can we purchase it? Yes. You got the money? Yes. They purchased it. Same here. So again, I understand what they're trying to do when they don't want us involved with that. Yeah, $50 million, $60 million, $100 million, $250 million, billions of dollars. All that stuff is coming through, and they don't want us to have a touch of it. But we still making it happen with what we got. We're going to still make it pop off. And they ain't going to stop that.
Yeah, but by the same token, we can't have this disproportionate thing where they're sitting up here, outrageously overfunding everybody else here, because their real job is to make the situation where we're so far behind we can never catch up. So that's what you call a permanent underclass.
That's
right there. That's right. And that's the part that we can't go for. So things have changed in that the black folk are no longer shy about calling them out for these kind of things and saying exactly what it is. And I'm bringing this to light so that when people have these conversations, if you listen, folks, when these folk come up here and you say about, okay, we all got to cut our check, when they talk about having a handout, wait a minute, white folk wasn't complaining when they giving money to Lincoln Yards or anything else, White Sox Stadium, or you want to talk about building complexes or helping financially. Y'all never said a word about any of that. Then don't say a word now. When it's you got no problem, then you don't have a problem with this either.
That's right. That's right. And we've been going to bat for that, going right toe to toe with them. They don't like to hear us argue about that. They don't like to hear us sit down in the meetings. They try to not publicize those things, but they have to because it's public record. So they got to put it out there. But then when we do come to those meetings, they're trying to do every excuse for us not to be there. But we still stay 10 toes down. We're going to keep on fighting. We're going to keep on pushing. That door is going to open whether you like it or not. That's going to happen. So they can say what they want. But the bottom line, Jason, we pushing real hard with that. Yes, we know that the disparity is there. We understand that part. But at the same time, stop it. We don't need to hear that no more. Just to stop doing that. Because you're telling a lie about one thing, and actually the truth about it is that we know what the truth is, actuality. You just give it to us, and we'll make it happen. We'll make it happen.
And that's exactly what they're scared of, is that for them, they need $1 million to make 100,000. You can take 10,000 to make $1 million. That's why they got to snuff the baby out in his crib. They've already seen what we can do. Yeah. They don't want to have to compete against that. They do not want to have to compete against that. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight, brother. We appreciate that. In the chat room, my man E.L. Smith, absolutely correct. In Atlanta, they're working on something called Centennial Yards, but Centennial Yards is just one. That damn metro bike path that they've been playing about for a decade or so, I imagine they'll eventually finish that when they finish stealing a bunch of money. That new freeway development that they're making through there on, I forget which side, it's way out on the loop when you're coming into Atlanta. They're working on this freeway development they're doing out there. But as far as just, regular development, New York started with Hudson Yards. Chicago got Lincoln Yards. Atlanta is doing Centennial Yards. So by the way, I mentioned this last year or the year before that when I talked about, they're eventually going to do something with that Olympic space. I was telling people, keep your eyes on the Olympic space. Keep your eye on that. They're eventually going to they're holding on to that because they're looking to develop it. So eventually, at some point, they're going to do that. At some point, they will. And you're seeing and watching in front of your eyes. And then they're going to they're going to make sure they help white folk make something. All right, when you roll up, it's not no handout. If it's not a handout for Centennial, if it's not a handout for anybody else, then it's not a handout for you either. Let me go ahead and get Robert here on Zoom. Robert, what's on your mind?
TBA, one of the greatest master teachers in the history of our lineage and our anchor man of the new black media. Yeah, TBA, something you said earlier about the connection from the Mafia to the recording industry and the origins of it. Like it made me think about something. My favorite movie of all time, The Godfather, and I often hear you make Godfather references, so you're gonna know what I'm talking about. It was a character called Johnny Fontaine in that movie. And the person who played him was a famous singer for real, had a celebrated career. His name was Al Martino. Al Martino was huge, released like 40-something albums in his career, but it was widely thought and believed that Al Martino's character, Johnny Fontaine, was based on Frank Sinatra and how the mob, had cut into him and, was pulling his strings. And one last thing about that, the wild thing about it, like I said, Al Martino was really a famous singer during his era. And after he played that part in The Godfather, the mob leaned on him, extorted him, made him pay him a whole bunch of money. They leaned on him so hard, he just got fed up with it, and he relocated to England somewhere. He moved out of the United States. That's a true story, man.
Keep your eyes and your ears open, brother.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. We appreciate that. Yeah, like I say, I need to get back up to Chicago and Atlanta, and I need to be able to just stay for a little bit and just really move around, because you all know me. I just come through at 100 miles an hour. I try to see as much stuff as I can. But, when I come through, I usually hit through Atlanta once every couple of months, though lately in the last few years, I stop every once in a while, but I've kind of been on the way to other places. I really need to stop. I need to go back to Chicago and just move around. Because, being on the Dan Ryan, coming through downtown, Chicago River, Magnificent Mile, you be in the downtown spots, but you can't really see Chicago. Chicago is more than just downtown. It's more than just the riverfront. It's more than just that. So I really want to come back up to Chicago and move around and go check everything out again and see what's changed and just bring my cameras with me and just record everything that I can, because I know a lot has happened. I just need to have a chance to go up there maybe for a week or two and just really just move around, just really just look around and move around, burn up a bunch of gas and just really check out what's going on. And in Atlanta, like I said, y'all don't understand. They building all over the damn place. They're building. Georgia is building all over the place, building freeways. Really just, to be totally honest, Georgia seems to be doing, it's this weird thing where Georgia seems to be trying to like link up with the Carolinas is what I'm seeing. That whole region, I don't know what's going on. And there's just, man, these people be plotting so much. I don't know what's going on between Georgia and the Carolinas, but there's something going on there. There's some sort of synergy or cooperation or something that's going on between Georgia and the Carolinas. Like they all want to work together, you know? There's something going on there. Something is happening. I don't know, call it a trading zone or a movement zone or whatever, but there's something really going on in between them where they kind of want to be cooperating to that degree. So that's something to watch out for. But then again, there's just so much going on. There really, really is. But I really want to get back out there and see that. Diana talked about bike trails and stuff. Baby, the bike trails are another political thing that sounds so innocuous. When you say a bike trail, it sounds innocuous. You think bike trail and you thinking something that's like 6 feet wide, you know, wide enough for two bicycles to pass each other, you know, in opposite directions. Man, they're taking one of the old MARTA lines in Georgia. Y'all can go look that up. It's one of the old MARTA lines, and they want to make it into this great big long, ultra miles long green space. This is their excuse. So when you say the words bike trail, you're thinking that they mean like a sidewalk. That's what you're thinking, is it means a sidewalk. No, they're just saying the word bike trail. It's taking up a whole damn part of the city. In Atlanta, Chicago. So it's tricky language that they've learned to use. They pitch it as, oh, we want to make a bike trail, and everybody thinks it's going to be just a sidewalk, and it turns up being like a freeway. So bike trail is the new name for freeway. Don't believe me? Check them out for yourself. Let me go ahead and see if I can get Mike up here on Zoom. See if I can take one more call here on Zoom. Can I get Mike up here on Zoom? I'll get Mike a moment here to get in. All right, Mike, you're on Zoom. What's on your mind, brother?
Brother, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hey, what's up, man? Long time listener, caller. Sorry, I just want to change topics just a little bit. Apologize to the family and actually thank you. I think a long time ago you made an analogy about something like 90%. I think if you have a mechanic who fixes your car like 90% of the time, 90% of the way, versus someone who actually does the job, which one is better? And it took me a while to actually get that analogy. Long story short, I was about 90% done with college. Sorry, I'm a little nervous. So I was about 90% done with college. And I think last year you did the whole broadcast about how we need to up our legal class. I was majoring in political science. I needed about 2 classes to finish my degree. So I went back to school this past semester, got my degree. I say, no, screw it. No, I'm gonna apply to law school and see what happens. You know, the worst they can tell me is no. And I got in. So I just wanted to thank you for leading me, guiding me on the way, and apologize to the family. This is something I should have been done like 10 years ago, you know, but life happened. But I just want to let you guys know that, hey, you're about to have a real one coming out in 3 years.
Well, I appreciate that, brother. Like I say, I mean, I really don't like to talk about myself very much, especially in those things. You just do what you do. But if I did have one thing that I felt was a missed opportunity and I wish I would have seen things differently, I guess I just kind of I just laid out there. I kind of got caught up like a lot of folk. Why do I need to be a lawyer if I can afford lawyers? So if I can pay for them, why do I got to be one? And what I'm saying is I think that's the issue. I think that's what a lot of us think. Well, let me get the money and I don't need to be, I'll go pay for lawyers. And the problem is that's like saying, we don't need to own a house, we'll rent one. It's just okay. And then you find out you don't have anybody who is 100% in your camp for anything. Everybody else owns the infrastructure and the institution, and you don't have any ownership of it at all. If you have to outsource your legal protection, you're a sitting duck, man.
Real talk, yeah, definitely. Yeah, so I got the offer letter really about 2 weeks ago. I've been meaning to give you a call to just to thank you and just to let you know that it's going to happen. So
well, I appreciate that. Let me go ahead and point out one more thing here too, because there's aspects of this. And one of these days, I'm really going to flesh this out, but I want to say it now while it's on my mind since you brought it up. The court system is one of the units of government. It's one of the divisions of government. But when you're a lawyer, it's like being a politician without having to be elected. You are an officer of the court, and whatever happens in the court can affect the whole society, but we didn't have to elect you to do that. Mm-hmm. Take a look at Ed Blum and the white supremacists running up there to the Supreme Court to attack us every chance they get. It's like they're legislators without having to be elected. So they're using the courts to basically enact and affect legislation without being elected, without having to campaign, have a political party, be elected or nothing. Jewish people understood this after World War II. That's why they made sure they stay represented. So it doesn't matter what way an election goes, you got to get past all of the folk that they've got in the legal apparatus to protect them.
Yeah, Jason, and I've actually been sitting in on so many I've gone to like a bunch of my job, I'm actually like a legal assistant right now in the Central Valley. It's only like probably about 7% Black people here, but it's definitely not 7% Black lawyers. We're probably like less than half of 1%. So yeah, so we're definitely not been represented for the Black people who does know how to deal with the system. So we have no representation here. So yeah, I mean it's all Latino and white. And some Indians too here in the Central Valley, but yeah, we're definitely underrepresented. And the ones I have met, they're just as you said they are. You have never lied about that. So yeah, yeah, they're trying to be superstars and everything. They don't care about the people or anything like that. So yeah, they're basically bootlicks and sellouts.
And there's the issue, brother. It's a years long campaign, and we didn't make a priority of that. And I'm not pointing at everybody else for that either. I'm pointing at myself for that. I'm pointing at myself too. Not that I think I would have been fantastic necessarily or anything. You always tell yourself you're going to be Perry Mason or something, and then you go out there and I'll be damned. You Benjamin Crumb. Well, y'all slow down now. But what I am saying is that, hey, but at least Benjamin got out there. Yeah. At least he got out there. He might not be, top of the class, but I'll be damned. At least he's out there. So a lot of folks think I should be a lot harder on him than I am. And I'm just like, well, at least he's out there on the field. A lot of us get used to making excuses for it because it's work. It's work. It's difficult. We're not familiar with it. You don't have folk in your family who know anything about it. So you're like the first person. It's like venturing into new waters. And it is. And, we just don't have any representation in that regard. So you've got the third branch of government that we are just the one that actually has power that doesn't require being elected. And yet we're basically non-existent in it. When you've got an avenue that Thurgood Marshall and them understood this. We would not have Brown versus Board of Education if you had to strictly go through the legislative branches. We wouldn't have it to the extent that it does any good. We would not have that. And they understood there's another avenue to take. They started with Dred Scott and whatnot. And they just kept going at it. And eventually, next thing you know, there it went. And when Brown went, everything else fell after that. And then we kind of just stepped off. Now we outsourced it to Johnny Cochran. Okay, and then you expect one man to take care of the world. These other folk don't have one man, bro. They got whole legal groups, Heritage Foundation and, United Legal Front and First Amendment Foundation and ADL. They got whole groups of them, man. They got whole battalions of lawyers. And we send one person out there. We get one person and think that's going to fix everything.
Yeah. Well, they're about to get one more, so that's all I want to say, brother Jason, B1. So
well,
thank you
brother,
for taking my
please keep up with me. I'd like to see how your progress goes, for real.
Yeah, it's actually thank you for taking my call. I'm a little nervous, but actually to hear the man in person live. So yeah, so what's up, family in the chat? Not that I'm watching the chat right now. I know you say don't do that, but yeah. So thank you for everything you've done. You've been a master teacher, of course, you, Tariq, Professor Black Truth. So yeah, got the kids on you and everything, man. So yeah, please keep up the good work and be one, baby.
Well, brother, you keep it up. Please check back in with me. I'd like to keep up with your progress.
I'll probably check on you maybe after my first semester. Okay, cool. I'll call you a little bit later.
I'll be waiting.
All right, Jason, salute.
I mean, that's exactly what we need right there. That's exactly what we need because, don't talk about it, be about it. Don't talk about it, get to it. Don't wait for me. If I made one mistake if I made one big mistake in the last 20 years, it was I thought about it. It came up. It's something, you really just need to do, but then you start doing other things and maybe you excel at that. But I will tell you, if there's one thing I really feel like was a missed opportunity, that was it. That was it right there, because I see how it's been weaponized and there were avenues to it that I hadn't considered or hadn't thought of in that regard. That's a whole branch of the government that affects the society, but you don't have to be elected to be a part of it. You're a lawyer, you're an officer of the court, you're a member of the bar, you're part of the judicial system, but you don't have to be elected. You can deal with laws and push back against them or promote them, and you don't have to be elected. You don't have to campaign. You don't have to win a single vote. And that's a whole branch of government that doesn't require an election in order for you to affect the society, and we're basically absent from it. So that's a huge gap. That's a huge gap in our ability and our repertoire and our resume. That's a huge one. And I think about it far differently today than I used to. I think about it much differently. Now I can articulate why, but, I guess better late than never, but I really feel some kind of way about that. In any case here, we're going to go ahead and wrap things up here tonight. A lot more going on, a lot more happening. Keep your eyes and ears open. Do not be fooled. Do not be deceived. Don't let folk give you simplistic answers to things. That makes you easily taken advantage of and easily fooled. Dig deep on some stuff there and ask questions. I want to thank everyone who's contributed to this nice program on PayPal, Super Chat, Venmo. Shout out here to my man Ronald. Thank you very much for your support tonight. We appreciate that. Stay positive. Thank you for your support. Cyberdyne 100, E.L. Smith, Chris King. Thank you very much for your support here as well. If you are new here to the Black Channel, welcome to the Haven of Intelligent Black Thought. We do this every weekend, holidays, some days in between. Click that red subscribe button. Oh, my man Andre over there on Venmo. I forgot. Andre, I meant to shout you out as well. Thank you very much for your support, brother. I appreciate that. Click that red subscribe button. Click that yellow notification bell. Join us every time that we're here. If you haven't been to our website, Black Channel Films, check out our blackchannelfilms.com. Check out our groundbreaking best-selling documentary work, blackchannelfilms.com. That is blackchannelfilms.com. I'd like to thank all of you for tuning in to tonight's program, live or recorded. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and sharing. And this concludes tonight's broadcast of the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. And until next time, my brothers and my sisters from around the world, remember, Black is the future, and the future is uncompromised.